yo, I said, I'm asking questions. I said, I'm gonna fuck you over now, you bitch ass, and I was asking he's a big ass dude too. You like this? No. Bro, I said, don't fucking touch me, these bitch ass, you stick too, nigga. Don't take a blast, nigga. Come on, nigga. I got the bus, nigga. I said, yo, come on, son with me, nigga. No, thank you. You can't be touching people you don't know, nigga. I don't think he's all the way there, though. I don't care, he touched my shoulder, nigga. No, I'm saying that. Like he touched me, nigga. Right, though? When nigga touch you in the shoulder, you don't know, nigga. You think it's a threat, right? I think like you want to talk with nigga. The boy out there, so.
Okay. Let's clown on this fool. So I think we've all met and know somebody in our life who might act or talk like this, even if it might be going back a few years. But I want you to take a moment and picture what you think somebody who talks like this might look like. You got it? Okay, good. So picture that, and yeah. Yep, that's right. At about 30 years. Oh, I cannot believe that there are people that live and talk like this actually roaming the world. Let alone somebody who's 40 years plus. Look at that fucking hairline! What are you even getting cut, my boy? The face tattoos. He's got the teardrops. He's got exactly too many teardrops on his face. He has killed 0 people. What a fucking tool. This dude's grandkids probably call him immature. Back in 2003, when this was actually popular, he was still too old to be talking like this. And he's held on to it for 2 decades. Like, grow up, man. Buy a fucking collared shirt and get a job. What the fuck? What a fucking loser! Just to add a little context, because I know it's like typical protocol for all Karen and Kevin videos to come in with no context. I walked into this barbershop because my normal barber was closed. I'd been here a couple times before. They had screwed up my haircut the first time I went in there. I asked for a fade and they gave me a buzz cut. The second time I came in, the barber was like pushing me so hard to book like 3 months worth of appointments like every 2 weeks. I mean, I don't get my hair cut that often. If you do, God bless you, because you look fresh all the time, but I just don't have the fucking willpower, the time, or the money to do that. So it was a lot for me. I ended up just booking the appointments just to get him to stop fucking pushing it. But regardless, I wasn't gonna blast the company and the place this is, because he's just a customer, right? They can't control who comes in. But this barber sat there and laughed along with him. Basically what happened was, as soon as I walk in, I asked the guy if I can go after this white guy sitting there dropping the N-bombs. And he says yes or whatever. And there's one guy sitting in their row of seats, and there's only one open seat that isn't right next to the other gentleman. So if I don't want to be sitting elbows to elbows with this guy, I have to move the guy who's getting his haircuts, hat, and sweatshirt. If you're wondering if it's a flat-rimmed 5950 and a fucking Echo hoodie, you're exactly correct, by the way, but I digress. So I ask him, I say, hey man, can I move this? And he literally looks at me and says, bro, don't touch my shit, I'm about to fuck you up. And I just kind of said, okay, chill. And he goes, no, ain't no chill. Don't be touching my stuff, bro. I'm not kidding. I'll fuck you up. So the barber ends up like sensing that this was creating tension, so he steps in and grabs it himself, as if that's making a huge difference. What is the difference between the barber picking up your stuff or me picking up your stuff. You're getting your fucking haircut. I need the chair. Sorry, you fucking tool. But I tend to internalize confrontation, so rather than confronting this gentleman, which would have only made things escalate, to be fair, I quietly sat at my phone and just tried to ignore the conversation. But as him and the barber are going back and forth, he is dropping N-bombs with a concerning amount of comfortability. It was like every other word. He's out there in the wild just throwing these around everywhere he goes. How is nobody holding this fucking guy accountable? So he goes into this, the story we hear where he's talking about beating up this big black guy because he basically wants to intimidate me. He's peacocking. He's telling the story of this big black guy. I think it was when he was in prison, but who the hell knows? This guy does not look like he's spent a day in jail, but then again, yes, he does. Anyways, so he's dropping multiple N-bombs, and I'm like, kind of like doing the big eyes, because like, both barbers weren't white. Why were they letting him get away with this? That's kind of where I came down, and unfortunately, I am going to say the name of the barbershop. You probably know it, because I'm going to put it in the description. It's Santana Company, and Santana Company Barbershop in Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, guys. Do better. Like, what the fuck? As this whole conversation is going on, the other barber sees a couple of students walk by, because this barbershop happens to be right next to a university, and he goes, "Bro, how come all the students are going into the salon next door?" Gee, I fucking wonder. But anyways, they probably have anxiety. They're just sitting there staring at their phones. As I'm literally having anxiety, staring at my phone because their clientele just threatened to kick my ass, and they're both laughing about it. Again, if you're the owner of Santana Barbershop Company or what the fuck ever, you can do better than this, man. I hate to be putting you on blast, but I felt so uncomfortable in there, and I'll never be back. I'm sorry. Do better.